Welcome to Fake Animal Rescues Exposed, Part 2, Spotting the Fakes. From my observation, there are 3 types of fake animal rescue channels. 1. Those that consist of fake rescue videos that the channel creators have made themselves. Most of this video will be focused on them. 2. Channels that import rescue videos, real and/or fake, from elsewhere and imply, or claim, that they were the ones who rescued the animals. 3. Channels that import rescue videos, real and/or fake, from elsewhere but claim in the about or more part of their channel or video that they are just sharing heartwarming stories, or something similar. So, what's wrong with that? What's wrong is that they, like the other 2 types of fake rescue channels, are just there to make money from animal suffering. In addition to revenue received from viewings and/or adverts, these channels often ask for donations, and/or display the $thanks icon, asking for even more money. All of these types of channels will be featured here. Before we go any further, just a quick reminder of content YouTube claims is not allowed. And just for absolute clarity, a definition of staged from the Cambridge Dictionary. Staged, arranged in order to give people a particular impression, sometimes in order to deceive them. Perfect. Let's start with an observation exercise. What do you think you are seeing in these 10 images? Did you see 10 clean, healthy-looking kittens between the ages of about 4 and 10 weeks old? Wrong. That's just what you thought you saw, and I thought so too, but we were wrong, because here's what we really saw according to the video strapline. This is a ventriloquist kitten with water-repellent fur that can lie down while on all fours. Another kitten with water-repellent fur that crawls whilst appearing to stand upright. Kitten 3 is a world first, having malaria, apparently. Next, we have a zombie kitten, able to walk around looking alert while not breathing. This pert little soul is, apparently, dying. And this kitten indeed might be about to breathe its last, but not until the video is finished and it's served its purpose. Will this dying cat, that shows no signs of being moribund, be taken to a veterinarian? No. Of course not. More kittens, about to die, unless they are to be used in another video. This, dying kitten, with its prominent eyes, I have seen in other videos. Another very tiny kitten about to breathe its last will also not see a veterinarian. A bonus shot. The kitten clearly isn't newborn, it's around 8 to 10 weeks old, so the video strapline is misleading. Make a mental note of how clean the kitten's ears are, you'll see why later. This video was removed after being reported as spam or misleading, scams or fraud. This is a long video for the rescue of a bright-eyed, clean, alert kitten with no sign of injury or disease, that is, not in need of veterinary attention. There is, of course, a reason for it being over 15 minutes long. Sometimes you need go no further than the video thumbnail to spot a fake animal rescue, but if it was that simple, this would be a very short video. I believe that the more informed people are about how to spot a fake animal rescue video or channel, the better equipped they are to report that video's fraudulence effectively, and have more chance of the video being removed. Although, as you will see later, what YouTube takes down and what it allows to remain live can be quite unfathomable, but any criminal cruelty video removed is a blow to the scammers. A video thumbnail with a strapline that is full of lies, exaggerations, gushing or emotive language, or claims that the so-called rescuers could not possibly have known, for example, he cried for days, or the 2 cats went looking for their mother and had fasted for days, or abandoned kitten stops people to get their attention but they're busy in their activities. In a place where there's no one to be seen, and their claims of clearly healthy animals, dying, or about to breathe their last, is one of the most immediate signs of a video that is fake, made for effect and money, not a genuine rescue. The very worst will even include the likes of, "I cried a million tears when I saw." The straplines of genuine rescue videos will be simple and straightforward. For example, a call came in, poor cat with difficult breathing, unable to walk, feeding street cats, or massive wound. Astounding healing, Animal Aid Unlimited India. If the strapline of a video thumbnail rings alarm bells, take a look at the homepage, which you will find often looks like this. The channel will feature only very young, healthy kittens, despite appearances, as will be shown later. The kittens are never diseased or injured, or the channel may feature only puppies, again, healthy despite appearance or claims to the contrary. Sometimes there may be a mixture of puppies and kittens. Why are the animals never diseased or injured? Because that would necessitate spending money, and these people are running a business to make money, not spend it. The kitten in the top left thumbnail, which I believe is dead, you saw in the first video and will see again on this video. Here's another empty claim by YouTube as to what is not allowed. Reused content. Reused content refers to channels that repurpose content that's already on YouTube or another online source, without adding significant original commentary, substantive modifications, or education or entertainment. If YouTube upheld this claim, many, if not most, of the fake rescue sites would be gone, especially those that exist simply by importing other people's videos. 4 differently named channels, but the same unconscious, she's drugged or sedated, cat in each one, and the same litter of kittens in 3, with a different litter being used in the 4th, batch recording I suspect. This cat with kittens on the railway also appears on Facebook. The only difference between these two is that I took the screenshot before the bowl had been put down in the top left shot. It just goes on, and on, and on, the same location, different video, or the same video, different name. A real-life Groundhog Day. The so often used damp kitten in a dry place. I'm not seeing much evidence of rain, the plants and surroundings are dry. Maybe it only rains on kittens in Vietnam. The daytime temperature range in Vietnam is 15 Celsius to 28 Celsius, not exactly cold. Of all the nauseating, stomach-turning fake videos these spawn of Satan churn out, these 2 images take the prize for being contrived to tug at the heartstrings, and nauseating too that they didn't think anyone would notice there is no traffic, or question what a duckling and kitten would be doing together in the middle of nowhere, as some did in the comments. It actually gets even more mawkish, as the hoaxers dig a little grave for the duckling and wrap it in leaves to bury it. The homepage does feature only kittens, only puppies, or a mixture of kittens and puppies, so what next? I'll cover homepages in more detail later, as there are features which apply to all types of fake rescue channels, that is those that import videos from other sites. First, I want to show you what I observed on the channels that make wholly fake rescue videos. The video will start with a shot of the animal that is going to be rescued at the place where it will be found. Note the gap and loose end flap here. The kitten would soon have escaped if it had been there for any length of time. As usual, the video is over 10 minutes long. Next, dashcam shots of the journey, which tend to be very dark. I've lightened those above, where the road is shown, or bright blue skies and the tops of buildings, which renders the proper function of a dashcam useless. Wherever the animals are found is almost without exception devoid of people or traffic. Next, the wiping of the animal with a stripy towel, followed by the carrier, product placement flask, and bowl pantomime, with the animal being given a bit of food. These images were taken from the Bestini channel when it was live. This piece of theatre was enacted in every video, that is, including those where the kittens were dying or about to breathe their last. So much for repetitious content that looks like it's made with a template, with little or no variation across videos, or content that's easily replicated at scale, not being allowed. These are all from the Bestini channel too. Here we have a bit of variety. A different carrier. But, still the same steel bowl and flask, but, a careless mistake that the sponsor won't like, he forgot to turn the flask company logo to the front. Next, back indoors, and the already very clean kittens are washed. Unless covered entirely in mud or a noxious chemical, cats and kittens, especially such tiny kittens as these, don't need washing. It is a traumatic experience for most, and I have noticed on real rescue sites, unless it is needed for the above-mentioned reasons, animals may be left grubby until the completion of whatever treatment they have needed has brought them to a more stable place, physically and mentally. But this pantomime, dashcam videos, deserted places, the flask, carrier and bowl tableau, wiping with stripy towels, washing already pristine clean animals is just bestini, isn't it? No, it isn't, which is why I said in the first video that I believe there is a cabal, or more than one, that are producing these videos on a near-industrial scale. The Bestini channel, which ran for about 6 or 7 weeks, I missed the last week, churned out over 60 videos. Some of the above were running at the same time, some arose after Bestini was gone. So where do all the kittens and puppies come from? I suspect they are being bred for the purpose of making the videos, or bred for the meat market. Cat and dog meat is still eaten in Vietnam, so the videos may be a lucrative sideline. They all follow the same sequence, the same template. I don't think any of these channels are currently live, for as I've said previously, for whatever reason. They are usually short-lived, disappearing and rising phoenix-like under a different name. As you see from these screenshots, Bestini is the same person as Game of Over, and as Pinky Slide, and as others that have come and gone. And they all give the squeaky clean kittens or puppies an unnecessary bath, and the water stays crystal clear, and then they'll all show the kittens or puppies on fluffy beds surrounded by toys and sometimes eating. What happens after the totally unnecessary and frightening washing of the animals? They go to the rescue center or sanctuary, after which they are never seen again. Time for another challenge. What do you think is strange about the following images? Hint: it's not the product placement. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned that some of the 10 kittens I showed you were slightly damp. Damp, and even wet, kittens and puppies in dry places is another feature of staged rescue videos. These sham rescues are filmed and loaded in reverse order, that is, the animals are filmed in the carpeted area with cozy beds, toys etc., filmed being bathed and then taken to where they are to be found. I suspect that the reason almost all of the kittens and puppies found are damp is that they haven't yet dried from their bath, and that even the flask, carrier and bowl scenario are filmed en route to the deserted place where the animal will be found. What happens then? I suspect that they are either simply left at the deserted place, or dispatched, and this being the reason deserted places are chosen. When this kitten was found, at the setting up of the flask, carrier and bowl scenario, the kitten was zipped into the carrier, but after finding the kitten, when the rescuer put the carrier into the car, the very time it needs to be secure, he just pushed the flap over the opening and did not zip it closed. And yet, amongst all these damp kittens, the one kitten that should be soaking wet is totally dry. Even its snowy white toes haven't so much as a splash of water on them as it stands up lying down, screaming in pain with its mouth closed. It's like the old nonsense rhyme, one fine day in the middle of the night, 2 dead men got up to fight, back to back they faced each other, drew their swords and shot each other. I came to the shock realization of what was happening in these videos about 4 years ago. I'd watched several rescue videos on a channel, taken in, like everyone else. In this video the woman came across a cat, unconscious in the middle of a dirt road, in the blazing sun. It had green frothy vomit emanating from its mouth. Horrible. Shocking. The poor cat. When your brain is frozen in shock at what you are seeing, it doesn't ask obvious questions like, how did she know what the poison was? How did she know what the antidote was? And how, in this very rural part of a country in Asia, did she have that antidote at home? With newly opened eyes, I looked again at the channel's videos, realizing that the kitten in one video, tied in a bag and thrown in a ditch, had been tied so it would not suffocate before being found, but couldn't escape either. I'd see this technique used again, just as I'd see again videos with straplines starting. I cried a million tears. So what's it all about? Why the theatrical production of these staged rescues? Well, I think you know the answer by now. It's all about money. What else? It is indeed all about money, the only thing these scum of the earth care about. The purpose of padding out a video with theatrics is to push it past 10 minutes in length, as this qualifies it for more adverts to be inserted. The hoaxers also need to ramp up the viewing numbers by applying cruelty to capture the attention of people whose only hope is to see a suffering animal saved and relieved from its pain and distress. We now have to move past the obviously healthy kittens or puppies, dying, or breathing their last, or infected with malaria, to look at the cruel tactics these people use to draw in viewers. More room for ads. YouTube emphasizes that videos longer than 10 minutes will allow the creators to embed more adverts, without saying that this of course means more money for YouTube from the advertisers. It continues further down. The algorithm still prioritizes longer material, despite the company's efforts to promote responsible content. Well, I'm sorry YouTube, but I haven't seen much effort to promote responsible content. I don't imagine it would be a huge effort, certainly not over 3 years, to teach your machines the laws relating to animal welfare in other countries, so that they picked up on a video with the title "Fox Hunting with Hounds," an activity illegal in the United Kingdom for 20 years. And there it is, a woman stating she doubled her income by extending her videos to being over 10 minutes long, and the makers of the fake rescue videos will do all they can to make sure their video is over 10 minutes long, filling it with any vaguely related, irrelevant footage to pad it out. Real rescues focus on the animal from start to finish. The fake rescue channels that don't actually make fake rescue videos rely more on harvesting videos from elsewhere and uploading something as often as possible, usually daily. The first 3 words of the penultimate sentence sum up the impression I have regarding YouTube's real attitude to animal cruelty. For clarity, should any of these videos qualify to be monetized with adverts, I will not be applying for monetization. The whole purpose of these videos is to reach as many animal lovers as possible, to make them aware of what's going on, to motivate and inspire them to report the fake rescue videos and channels, in such numbers that YouTube is shamed into taking more rigorous action than the few, mere lip service paying token removals, which is all that seems to be happening at the present. All I ask is that you spread the word by sharing the videos. Now, a look at the cruel tactics employed by the scammers to engage the emotions of the viewers and deceive them. We have already seen that the locations the animals are supposedly found in are almost always deserted. In fact, of the hundreds of videos I have seen, in the very few that other people can be seen, they are very distant. Railway lines are obviously deserted between trains and give the impression that the animal is in great danger, which it is, but not from being hit by a train, so placing animals on a railway line is popular. Once again, we have the same video posted on different channels. You can see that most of the animals are unconscious. They are drugged or sedated. To stop an animal, such as an older kitten, adult cat, or boisterous puppy, from moving from its stage while the pantomime of arriving and finding the animal is acted out, the use of drugs, sedatives, and possibly poison if the animal is not to be used again, is popular. Very popular. Placing the baby animals in water is another favored cruelty. No animal, whether kitten or puppy, just sits around in water. It is contrary to their survival instincts. I was left wondering, what was preventing the kittens circled in the bottom left picture from leaving the water? I suspect it is tied to something heavy and placed sufficiently far away that we cannot see what ties it. The kitten circled in the center picture is simply too tiny to move, barely able to crawl. Sometimes a combination of techniques is used, for example, as previously seen, the drugging or sedation used to put an animal on a railway line or, in this case, drugging them to put them in water, but not water deep enough for them to drown, which would defeat the object of the exercise. The kitten in the picture at the top right has its third eyelids showing, a sign of having been drugged. Then there's chained, or in some other way constrained. The puppy is chained to that good old favorite, a railway line. I have seen one video of an adult dog that was neither drugged nor sedated, chained to a railway line, and as expected, it was thrashing about in fear and panic. These vile people churn out these videos at such a rate, mistakes are often made, like calling a lactating female dog a puppy, and a plastic strip a large iron rope. And look at that tiny kitten in the netting, there's no way it could have fed its own leg through that netting, but you'll see worse later. Let's look at the homepages of some of these criminals' channels. God Dragon seems to favor drugging with a bit of added water to increase pathos and just a touch of Photoshop blood around the cat's mouth top right picture to make it look worse, and, naturally, a very tiny kitten on a railway line. I said you'd see that tiny, almost certainly dead, kitten again, only now it's turned into a puppy. It looks like KL Gaming X has applied most of the increase the pathos techniques, puppy chained and muzzle taped, kitten dumped in water, drugged puppy and kitten, dead I believe, the kitten entangled in netting that we've seen, and a bit of Photoshop blood on the kitten, bottom right, that looks too healthy. Such dedication too, as he seems to manage to find 3 of them at night. However, what really breaks my heart is the look of sheer terror in the indicated kitten's eyes. It's a picture worth 1,000 words. And, on Vibergame 24H, there's the dead kitten again, back to being a kitten, not a puppy. Vibergame either hasn't got the full idea of drawing people in with added jeopardy, or simply isn't making the effort. There's not even a bit of Photoshop blood in evidence. But at least we should draw comfort from the knowledge that the dying cat and fainting kitten will miraculously revive. Here, Kuyan Gary makes up for Vibergame's failing with a veritable feast of added adversity, drugged and chained, drugged, wet and photoshopped, wet and awake, happy and being cared for and having spookily similar markings to the kitten, found 3 days later, wet and in a deserted location, dry and possibly drugged by the roadside, wet, drugged and with a bit of Photoshop blood in a deserted location, and not forgetting the popular railway location where the kitten is drugged, and has some Photoshopped blood. Let's take a close look at the kitten in the pictures at the bottom left and bottom right of the screen. Although the kitten on the left looks a slightly darker color, that can be accounted for by the picture being taken indoors, without a flash. To me, that white blaze is too similar for this to be 2 different kittens. I opened the first video in this series with several shots from fake rescue videos, some of which you have seen again here. I now want to go through more shots from 2 of those videos, with a breakdown as to why they are fake rescues. First, a reminder of the 2 shots in question. This is the first time I saw the makers of fake rescue videos use suspension to prevent an animal from moving. In a particularly vile example of combining techniques, a kitten and puppy tied up together and thrown into water, but of course the fake rescue video makers are close at hand to make sure the kitten and puppy don't die before they perform the rescue. Here the kitten and puppy are being rescued. The sun is shining, there is a plastic object, circled in red, on the right, the bag is clean and close to the pipe, clearly, the woman has hold of it, and the scene is being shot from the opposite side of the pond from the previous shot, where the kitten and puppy were in front of, not behind, the vertical object. I believe that this is the first attempt to put the kitten and puppy into the pond, before actually throwing them further. Let's return to the previous shot. Note the position of the bag in relation to this structure. Also note the uniformity of this bow wave type ripple, this clean piece of the bag that has clearly not yet been submerged, and the cleanliness of the kitten and puppy's faces. This is a shot of the kitten and puppy just landing after they have been thrown in by the rescuers. An enlargement of a section of the previous picture shows they have even taped the puppy's mouth shut. Their cruelty is beyond comprehension, and the expression of bewilderment on the faces of the puppy and kitten is heartbreaking. It is no longer sunny. The plastic object is now alongside the pipe. This piece of the bag is still clean, as are the faces of the kitten and puppy. The shape of the ripple is exactly the same as in the previous slide, though this is ostensibly 1 minute and 24 seconds later, and the camera angle is different. 2 people were filming this rescue. The kitten and puppy are struggling to free themselves, as any animal would, and consistent with their struggle, their heads are now covered in filthy muddy water, as they would already have been when they were found, had they been put there earlier by someone else. The distance between the bag and the pipe is too great to be reached by standing on the pipe, as we previously saw the woman doing while holding the bag. Camera angle number 3. This is a simple rescue, if it was real, that is, no additional tools or machinery needed, yet their priority seems to have been to have at least 2 people filming. The bag is now alongside the pipe, yet the woman, rescuer, has clean hands. The kitten, encircled in yellow, is out of the bag and totally submerged in the mud. Even that close to the pipe, the bag is beyond an outwards and downward reach, especially from an elevated, curved surface, without falling in, and yet, without even getting her feet and hands dirty, the woman has retrieved the submerged kitten from where the arrow indicates. At last, dirty fingers. Post reporting to YouTube, see the inset. I received no notification from YouTube that they had removed the video, though at the time of preparing this video, the channel Daisy the dog is still live, but this video is no longer showing there. Hopefully, enough people reported it that in the end YouTube did remove it. Hopefully. Now to the dog that has been hung on the fence. I have sharpened the images that follow as much as possible. They were poor quality and not sharp. I believe this was deliberate on the part of the scammers, and you will see why at the end, and even in the middle, of this sequence of shots. Here are the telltale signs of a fake rescue video I have spoken of, that is the emotive language, the claims they cannot possibly know, the $thanks icon asking for more money. How likely is it that people heard the dog crying, in pain and despair, and did nothing? It would have kept them, or their children, awake. It's just lies, lies and more lies, all to make the situation seem worse. This is a lie because the fraudsters claimed that the dog had a massive abdominal wound, so let's go back to that first image and have a look. Stuck, 4 days with a massive abdominal wound, yet there's no wound, no dried blood, no dried feces, no bare skin from rubbing against the metal whilst struggling to escape. And how exactly is the dog stuck? Its left leg would easily slide off where the arrow indicates, and its right leg is completely free. If the dog had been caught by its bushy tail, its weight would have just pulled the fur out and it would be free. The dog goes to the vet, or does it? At this point, the dog is still breathing, his eyes are blinking and his head is not flat on the table. Having watched the central part of this video several times, this is the last time I see evidence of breathing. The collar is quite slack, the fingers fit under it easily. The vets, doctors, would remove the collar, which is not tight, for reasons of hygiene. The dog's eyes are now fixed and staring, and its head is flat on the table. I suspect the dog is dead at this point. A very long wound, yet as previously pointed out, not a drop of blood, wet or dry, was on the dog's fur when it was found. It is also clear from the start of the video that the dog is not impaled as claimed. All the spikes are accounted for and the dog's abdomen is where the red arrow indicates, completely unpierced. He fell into a coma, they say. Coma is indicative of a problem with the brain or nervous system, and yet they proceed with surgery. The dog is now completely inert. It is being lifted and its body is limp. Why the insignificant blurred areas? Are they meant to be convincing? This is supposedly pre-surgery intubation, without surgical gloves. The insert shows real veterinary intubation, no blurring needed. Often now, videos showing surgery will be in black and white and/or pixelated, but this isn't pixelated, it's very blurred. I believe this surgery is simply making use of that practice to hide that it is fake. During surgery, he was continuously monitored, they claim. I see no monitoring equipment, zero, none, nothing, nil, totally absent. All there is a disconnected tube in the dog's mouth. But there is more about this surgery that bothers me. Much more. It may be an illusion, though I don't think so, but where is the rest of the dog? This is a big dog, yet just past the blue arrow, the cloth seems to fall away to nothing. Also, the dog is supposed to have a long abdominal wound, from allegedly being impaled on the spikes of the fence, so why is it on its side? Abdominal surgery is performed with an animal on its back, not its side. The picture is very out of focus. Again, I don't think this is accidental. I threw everything I could at the already bad image to try and get some clarity, but it still looks like half a dog on the table. The distance between the man's left foot and the wall is short, and there's no sign of the dog's hind legs, or tail, dangling off the end of the table, they surely would be visible through the area circled. This is Vietnam, the world's second largest consumer of dog meat. You may draw your own conclusions as to what is happening. The poor dog's problems are not over. His testicles were swollen and he was unable to urinate. So where is the catheter? Supposedly after surgery, here's the dog looking miserable, truly hangdog. A bandage on its leg and a small area of its clearly unshaved abdomen, blurred out. This was an opportunity, if it were real, to make a detailed and comprehensive video of the rescue, from showing the dog being taken off the fence. We don't see that, to wound assessment, surgery and recovery. No need for padding out with mostly irrelevant fluff to get the video over 10 minutes. This was a gift for a genuine rescue, and yet, the video is less than 5 minutes long. So where is the catheter? It is as invisible as in the last shot. And why is the dog just sat on the floor on a puppy training pad and not in a veterinary surgery recovery cage? I think we know why. The cruel criminals were supposedly operating on the dog's right side, which is what we are seeing, yet it's all fully furred. This, presumably, is the dog's recovery kennel. Contrary to the popular myth, neither a human's hair nor a dog's can turn white overnight. Nor can a shaggy dog turn into a short-haired dog. I said at the start of this sequence that I believed the poor quality of the images, in places, was deliberate. A sharp image would make it obvious that this is not the same dog. That look says it all really, doesn't it? I want to end this sorrowful sequence with, for comparison, a few shots from the channel of a Turkish veterinary practice that uses the money that the channel raises to treat street cats. A street cat with a broken tail, in Istanbul, is caught on CCTV outside the vet practice over 2 or 3 nights. The vet sends his assistant to find it. This is no idle claim. I have followed this channel for some time and have twice seen injured street cats walk into the vets. As is common in Istanbul, the street cats are fed and shelters provided for them outside the clinic. The surgery is only pixelated above the incision. The video is nearly half an hour long and all of that concentrates on the cat's journey. The whole process took around a month. Back in color, we see unequivocal evidence that the cat has had tail amputation surgery. The injury was so bad it caused the cat to be incontinent, but the surgery cured that. As is usual, the cat has a cone collar to stop it worrying at the wound. The now tailless cat in Istanbul showing his appreciation to the vet, and the cat, when fully recovered, of his own volition went back to living on the street in the area of the clinic, where people feed and care for street cats. Some fake rescue channels go beyond, or have started to go beyond, the template of a quick shot of the victim, dashcam video of the journey to a deserted place where the victim is found, wipe with a towel etc., and now include treatment at a veterinary establishment, which is, of course, a sham, though can look very convincing if they have invested some of their immoral and criminal earnings in equipment, but like many things, the devil is in the detail. You have just seen the worst example I have come across of fake veterinary treatment. The more usual fake and pointless treatment at a sham vet follows a template too, that is, the treatment is to listen to the victim's chest, look into its eyes, usually clear and bright, as you have seen in previous shots, look into and perhaps wipe its ears, take its temperature and sometimes give an injection of heaven knows what. No treatment for internal or external parasites is ever given. Though this is the standard, basic procedure of a genuine rescue organization or veterinarian. Why do the fakes not give treatment for parasites? Treatments for parasites cost money, and anyway, the animals are never seen again, disposed of I believe, so what's the point? First let's look at some real veterinary establishments, including, as the source of most of the fakes is Vietnam, 2 proper Vietnamese clinics. This is a veterinary hospital in Cambodia, used by the FTC Meow channel. The staff wear uniforms embroidered with the hospital name, and, although we can't read them, name badges too. The examination table is as normal, that is, accessible from each side and made of scratch-resistant material. The same veterinary hospital in Cambodia performing eye removal surgery on one of 2 kittens that were found. Warning. There follows a graphic image of the kitten's diseased eyes. The kittens as they were found, dirty, blind and emaciated, and clearly, their diseased eyes were beyond saving. Passing quickly on. Here are the kittens post-surgery, enjoying their food and playing. The cat in the center is Miracle, another cat found with eye problems. His name was changed to Miracle when it was discovered he may have a little sight in his undeveloped, damaged eyes. Miracle is a very gentle cat, particularly good with kittens. These cats and kittens are looked after, in their home, by a young Cambodian vet and his wife, who also have a young family. Most cats and kittens that come to them need veterinary care, often very expensive, and that is why I am so very angry with the thieving, parasitic, scumbag fakers, these festering pustules of humanity, all of them, whether they make the videos or import other people's. My wrath is no less with YouTube for making such a feeble effort to end their theft and their extortion. A veterinary surgery in Morocco where a dirty cat was found diseased, with a cancerous tumor on her ear, and nursing kittens. You can see, in the center picture where she is being operated on, her legs remain as dirty as when she was found, though I have no doubt the area around her ear is scrupulously clean. This demonstrates that the professionals understand it is detrimental to a frightened, disorientated, and in this case, very sick, cat, to add to their distress with washing that can wait. That very clinically clean pen in the top right is not, as it appears, in the veterinary surgery, but at a wonderful rescue sanctuary where the cat will recuperate. There is no carpet anywhere. And so to the Vietnamese veterinary clinic's promotional video. We have the receptionist waving hello, we see the vet in the consultation room, treating some kittens, and then waving hello to the camera, surgery being performed on a dog, without blurring anything, and not close enough to require pixelation, and I just had to include this picture, which made me laugh. But also we can see a client in the background, with her cat, then more clients waiting to be seen. A different Vietnam veterinary clinic and a nasty wound is being treated also, a male cat is having a catheter fitted, very different from the dog that supposedly had the catheter fitted. And now, the vile fakes. The table and the tray are filthy. This is at the start of a video clip featured in the first video. Although the writing on the bottle is back to front, I enlarged it enough to read it, looked it up, and it is for canine distemper. Cats don't get canine distemper. The surgical gloves also look dirty, and are torn. It's funny how, so many of these channels have the same email address and payment symbol, as if they were part of a cabal. More dirty equipment, and a needle, presumably used, left on a syringe. Is this dirty item a child's toy? On a real veterinarian site, a notice on a cupboard said if you've time to lean, you've time to clean. Cat toys in a mug, instruments in an old bottle, and a wall ideal for gathering dirt. A cluttered, laminate table only accessible from one side, and flowers? Have these people ever even been into a veterinary consult room? This fakery is so lazy it's an insult to the intelligence. Too idle to even move the shoes, clothes, and fold-up bed out of the picture. Who is monitoring the unconscious kitten? A human face mask is no use at all. The kitten is not confined in a recovery cage, there are air bubbles in the tubing and taped to its leg, whatever it is not a veterinary cannula and is facing the wrong way to be going into a vein if it is a needle. The wall tiles look familiar, as does the green material under the orange blanket, the tubing, and the needles seem to be going into the kitten's leg the same wrong way, and yet they purport to be different rescue organizations. As before, there are air bubbles in the tubing. I have no doubt it is the same kitten, just with an orange blanket put underneath it. What in God's name is being force-fed into this kitten? From memory, it looks like the green tobacco juice the woman used to poison the cat she then pretended to rescue, in that awful video that awakened me to fake animal rescues. This is the kitten which you saw earlier, that is having its obviously clean ears looked at with an otoscope. This is just a time filler, to clock up the minutes. Although the steel table looks more authentic than a laminate table, I have never seen toilet paper used in a veterinary consult room. These 3 images are just horrifying. Very young kittens, all about 6 weeks old or less, to be being injected. There's an air bubble in the syringe on the left, and I've never seen any animal injected that way. Just where is the needle going into the kitten on the right? Sterile water, a diluent, so what? Are people meant to be impressed? I'm more interested in what these injectable pharmaceuticals are, and why so many of the same type are needed. A vet with only 2 types of injectable pharmaceuticals, and all just in the room? I don't think so. What are these odd bricks and foliage gaps in the wall? Just what is about to be injected into this tiny kitten? Why the posters of English, Welsh and Latin American dog breeds? I suspect it is to give an impression of authenticity. Whilst I would not expect the same high veterinary standards, in a country that has only recently introduced any sort of animal welfare laws, as are seen in countries with long-standing high animal welfare standards, we have seen 2 good Vietnamese vets. This, on the other hand, is just a chaotic, grubby sham, constructed to deceive. Warning. The next image is graphic. The cat is clearly dead, as is evident by its broken, twisted body, and the absence of any sign of a struggle, for example, the blood emanating from its mouth being smeared about, yet the dead cat is taken to the vet that is as fake as the channel. This is one of 3 videos I saw on this channel featuring dead animals, all saying, "Mother died." It made me wonder if blooded dead animals is their next direction. Here we are with the dead cat at the same fake vet with another bricks and foliage bits of wall, and again, toilet paper and a commercial cleaner wholly inappropriate to be used in a veterinary clinic. The cat does not breathe whilst on the table, but the video says hopefully the vet will save the cat before declaring it to be dead, as it was from the start. There is still more to be covered on this subject, and I've decided to split the video into 2 parts. This subject matter is very intense, but I didn't want to leave out anything important. For the people to whom this issue matters, I believe the more they know, the better armed they are to tackle the issue with the social media platforms. In the next part I'll cover a bit more of the devil is in the detail on homepages, and then dive into the channels that import videos implying, or claiming, they carried out the rescues, and those who also import videos but say they are just sharing heartwarming stories. They are all making and obtaining money under false pretenses and in so doing, robbing the real rescue channels of money they desperately, and deservedly, need. See you in the next video, I hope.